So there were a lot of invitations, mainly through Facebook and other websites and every one of the social networks, like inviting Brazilians to go to the streets and like fight against the bus fare. Is that how it called?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a lot of fight invitations, like saying like it's not only for 20 cents. There were a lot of propaganda, as I said before, and in school, like mainly young people always hear about how older people would fight against the military dictatorship in Brazil that happened during the 60s, between the 60s and 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And everyone was like, "Oh, I would like also to go to the streets and like protest and do things like that." And everyone was, I don't know, I think every young people was just waiting for that. Everyone wanted to rebel a little bit, mainly because Brazil is not a very, it's not a very equal place. Like there is a lot of inequalities, and the police is very aggressive, and the politicians are very corrupt. It wasn't just about the 20 cents they raised. So that was the last drop that like created all the movements because they needed something like to start. I think like people were getting pissed and pissed and pissed, and then like when they raised more, because a lot of people need that to go to work. Like just got people really pissed. Every like little thing that everyone had kept, like everyone was like getting pissed about. Like they let go everything with the 20 cents, and it began in São Paulo, and then it was in everywhere. Rio de Janeiro, Porto Alegre, everywhere. Like from the north to the south, everywhere was they were making the protests. But because I was in prison during the time of the protest,
Oh,
and when I
okay.
went back, I was very excited to go back to the protest. Like, yeah, guys, let's go, let's fight for the revolution. But when I went back there, the protests were kind of over. But now in 2014, because of the World Cup, there will be a lot of protests, and be sure there will be a lot of repression of the police.
Right.
There are some websites, there are some pages on Facebook, like Revolution News and World Riot, 24 hours. They shout pretty much about like the protests, that, like all over the world, not only in Brazil, but I'm sure they're gonna cover a lot in Brazil. The protests were over because mainly because of the repression of the police. The media was very racist. So it's in the side of the government. They are saying like protests. They're only like vandals, as I said before, and then some people were like discouraged to go back to the protests. In Brazil, there are some people who depend on the public system of transports, public system of education. Like a lot of people depend on the public system of colleges. They need like the public colleges, like everyone. Like a lot of people in my class are people who graduated from a middle class school. They're middle class and they still need they still need like college, the public college.
Right.
But the government is not spending money on colleges. They're not putting money on education. They're not putting money on like health. They're not putting money like on public stuff that people need. They're putting money on like stadiums that like it's going to make money for FIFA, for like the Brazilian Corporation of Soccer, the like government. Even not even the government. The government's gonna be in a crisis because they're gonna spend so much money on all these things that we don't need. We need more radical changes. They need to transform what is like some of the private corporations. They need to be public again. We need the government to do more for people who don't have money, and we need they do it in a way that people who have money want to use the same thing because it's good.
Right.
So we just don't need like hospitals to attend poor people. We need hospitals to attend Brazilian people. We need hospitals to attend whoever goes there and asks for help. We need good schools. We need like best schools possible. So I think that's what Brazil need. Brazil need like
A strong party.
a strong party with a manifesto, a new party because the old ones are all corrupt. We need a new party with a manifesto and say like we need radical changes and we need people to accept those changes. And I believe that we could do non-violently, mainly because the Brazil has a vast army, and I don't think violently we could take over the power. Total changes like 100%, it will take 40 years, maybe even more. I don't know. But to start having like changes, I think in 5 years we would have more jobs, more happiness, less stress. To give like public hospitals, public schools, public college, because I think it's very important, public college, because you can only go to college if you and pay for it. It's like not democracy. Then I think that people would have more. I then I think that there will be more changes, like more radical changes.